Welcome to QuickBooks Online for Nonprofits. I am Ufoma Ogaga, owner of Goshen Bookkeeping and Consulting. I am a financial controller and a QuickBooks Pro advisor, helping nonprofits to increase profitability one mission at a time. In continuing with our QuickBooks Online navigation training, I will show you how to customize your QuickBooks account and settings. Click on the gear icon and select Accounts and Settings. There are 5 major categories of settings for your company file. Depending on the version of QuickBooks that you have, and if you're not using QuickBooks Online Plus, you may or may not see all 5 tabs. These settings are the things that you need to change when you first log into QuickBooks Online and before you start recording transactions. The Company Settings tab includes information about your company, such as your nonprofit name, address, company logo, federal EIN number, company type based on your tax return, your company industry, your contact information, and your physical or mailing address in this system. Here you can add your nonprofit logo by uploading a copy to QuickBooks Online. You can select Form 990 as your tax return, and you can enter the religious, civil, making, professional, similar organization option as your industry type. The Billing and Subscription tab tells you what your subscription status is, the type of QuickBooks plan you have, and the next time your card will be charged. You will also see any subscriptions for QuickBooks Payroll or QuickBooks Payment Solutions. The Company ID field is Intuit's ID for your company. If you call QuickBooks Online Tech Support, this is the number that they will ask you for on the call. The Sales tab is where you can customize and set the default information for your sales forms. Here you can customize the look and feel of your sales forms. You can turn on some of the sales form content, such as the custom fields, custom transaction numbers if you want to use your own numbering sequence, and set your preferred invoice terms. To track how you get your money in your nonprofit, you can turn on products and services, and quantity, and price and rate. You can use progress invoicing to bill your donors, members, or grant entities in installment increments from an estimate form in QuickBooks Online. You can customize the sales form email messages to include your nonprofit's key messages. Think of your sales forms as another marketing material, so I recommend customizing it to match your branding and to reinforce your mission. I also recommend copying or blind copying yourself in all of your emails that you send out of QuickBooks Online to make sure that the end user receives them. You can also customize the message that is sent with reminders to remind your customers to pay their invoices if you are using the invoicing function of QuickBooks Online. You can choose the online delivery method for sending sales forms to your customers. You can create year-end donation statements or account balance statements using the Statements option. You can also turn on the option to display an agent table at the bottom of your invoices to your customers. The Expenses tab includes settings that tells QuickBooks Online how to handle your reimbursement expenses and the default settings for bills and purchase orders. Here you have the option of using products and services as items on sales forms. I do recommend turning this option on. If you are a regular nonprofit that is tracking grants or doing job costing allocation, or if you are a church with a committee that is tracking expenses, you need to use the products and services as items on expense forms and turn on the track expenses by customer option. You can set up your donors, grant entities, church committees, and sponsors as customers in QuickBooks Online. If you have or track billable expenses for employee reimbursements or to bill back to a committee or a grant entity, you can turn on the billable feature and select a billable income account. The default bill payment terms, purchase orders, and messages with purchase order can be used if necessary. The Payments tab is the place where you can sign up for a QuickBooks Payments account to accept credit card payments and ACH payments seamlessly through QuickBooks emailed invoices. ACH bank transfers are totally free and typically takes anywhere from 5 to 7 business days for you to receive your funds. I do recommend working with a QuickBooks Pro Advisor reseller partner to get better credit card discount rates if you want that option. The final tab is the Advanced tab. Here you can set the fiscal year or calendar year of your tax filings, and you can choose the accounting method as cash or accrue for your reports. You can also set a password to close your books for a period. The password option is great to use if you have reconciled your books and if you have closed your books for a prior fiscal year and you don't want others to make changes to the transactions. The tax form that you selected in the Company tab will also appear as your company type here. Since QuickBooks Online does not give you any ability to organize your charts of accounts without numbers, you have to turn on Enable Account Numbers and check the box next to Show Account Numbers. Categories is only available in the Plus version of QuickBooks Online. As a nonprofit, you need to track your income and your expenditures using classes to get the statement of functional expenses for your Form 990. So turn on classes. You also need to track the conditions of your funds, whether they are restricted by a donor or whether they are unrestricted. So turn on locations and choose the division or department option as your label. For automation, turn on the options for pre-fill forms with previously entered content and the automatically apply credits and automatically apply bill payments. The projects feature is a new feature that was introduced in 2018 that you can use to track one-time project income and expenses all in one place. It is still a new work-in-progress feature that Intuit is still fine-tuning and enhancing. As of right now, I don't recommend my nonprofit organizations to use this feature. Turn on the time tracking feature only if you are using QuickBooks Online payroll system. Under Preferences, you can change the date and number format. You can change the customer label to say donors or members or whatever you call your contribution stakeholders. If you do invoice people out of QuickBooks Online, I recommend leaving the label as the default option, Customers. To prevent duplication of checks and bill numbers, turn on these two options. If you tend to stay in QuickBooks Online longer, You can extend the inactive timer up to 3 hours. Click Done to finish customizing your accounts and settings. That is everything you need to know to customize your QuickBooks accounts and settings. In the next video, I will show you how to add and manage users in QuickBooks Online. Thank you for watching.